Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we are very, very close here to getting a lot of this stuff more online. This scenario is getting very close to completion at this point, I think. We just need a lot of stone. That's what it ends up feeling like anyway. So we're making solid progress here. This needs artwork. This needs stone and artwork. This needs just stone, no artwork. And this one out over here needs some stone and artwork as well. Stone and artwork here. Stone, 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 stone. There's a lot of stone that we need out over this way still. And we're definitely having some residential walls crumbling out over here just due to lack of maintenance. And we have this extra mason yard online now, so hopefully, now that we have 3 of our 4 mason yards in this area online, hopefully they'll be able to maintain some of this. I see that this memorial is at 27%. They appear to degrade even while they're not fully built, which is definitely interesting, and I mean, it makes sense. I'm not opposed to that. You can see that this plaza here, not doing so hot. This one up over here is not doing so hot either. We absolutely do need to get repairs going here. This mason just came out and did, I think, a little bit of repair to this plaza. Yeah, they're actually building the plaza. Okay, so that's fine. That's absolutely great. We need a lot of stone, though. And I mean a lot of stone. So that seems okay. Some of our security venues are overstretched, and I think that that's this fortress. We could think about building an additional fortress, like out over here, perhaps. Or I don't think we can fit one in over here. We could maybe here. I don't know how relevant that would be, though, if we did that. It would reach a decent amount of stuff. Yeah, we could do this. And what we would then want to do is we'd want to make sure that this road is built like that to connect like this. Now, it's not going to connect all the way down to here because of the positioning of this fortress. We can't move this fortress over, but we can put it right here, and it'll have much better connection out in this area. And it'll pull some of the strain from over here. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to come in here, and I want to make sure that this road is connected here. That will remove a little bit of the timber in this area, but that should also mean that this fortress hopefully connects a little further out over here. I don't know. I don't love this spot, but I guess it's okay. It's fine for now. So that's okay. We're going to continue to see, hopefully, a large amount of stone flowing in. We do see our finances negative right now, and that's deeply unsurprising because we're importing lots of stone at this moment. Just insane quantities of stone. We need more stone, too. We need more stone than what we're even importing at this moment. So, wow, look at that. That's a residential wall that's finished. That's kind of wild. So right now, we're deliberately not replacing anything that crumbles to ruins right now. And the reason for that, of course, is because we want to have this stone deficit get actually worked through rather than just spinning our wheels on it. So we want to put the stone into things that are not going to crumble, hopefully. And that'll be good. These residential walls also require artwork. That's going to be a lot. Our staff of the mason yards are out making repairs. We can see the condition of some of these things, not so great. So we definitely need to make repairs where possible. Actually, all 4 of our mason yards are now online here. And the question is this enough? We will see if 4 mason yards is enough to cover this whole area. I see that this mason yard gets good coverage there. This one gets good coverage up here. So we definitely have full coverage of everything out over this way. This whole area is covered by mason yards. But the question is, are there too many buildings for them to cover? Are their services going to be too strained? We will find out. I think a lot of their slowness right now, though, is simply they don't have stone. So that's, I think, the core issue there. Tending to small gardens. Okay, cool. So we just need artwork here. we need small amounts of stone for most of these temples. These barracks out here, they're going to need a lot of stone, of course, and I'd love to see this porter yard get finished. That would be absolutely phenomenal. But right now, this seems reasonably fine. So out over here, I'm just waiting for this granary to be removed. That'll happen eventually, right? And this fortress over here, that's going to require some additional recruits as well. I'm just thinking, we would probably be better off here to have a road on this side of the canal. So what that would end up doing for us is... This is... Hang on. Is there no canal here? The canal ends here, doesn't it? If that's the case, then we should build the road like that. It's a little awkward right here, but that'll do for now. It's a little awkward over here too. I think we can get rid of that then. And then we could get rid of this. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do this right now. It's an awkward road setup, but this will give us significantly more coverage on this fortress by doing that. So we'll do that. That needs a lot of stone, 200 stone, and that's going to be very, very significant. No shockers there. Now then, up over this direction, I do suspect that our masons are going to be capable of dealing with everything that's up over here right now. But we need huge amounts of stone here still. I wish we knew what our stone deficit was. So if we went into here, we can see we have no stone. Construction, this was the last year usage and current year usage, the projected usage. I wish we could see how much is currently needed for construction overall. That's apparently not an option right now, and that would be a useful piece of information to have, for sure. There's a fire in the city, a porter yard. Okay. I don't know where, but it's somewhere. Oh, it's this one right here. Okay, so it has spread to this cloth weaver, but it should get doused pretty easily. Yeah, we've got somebody heading to douse it right now. You can always tell when they're heading to douse because they don't have an animation. They just kind of slide around. I guess that's one way to indicate that they're dousing. So at this point, the question, of course, is how are we doing on maintaining all of the buildings that is out over here? We do have the ruins of a memorial here and a stela. This one's at 34%, 34%, 34%. So I do believe that the core issue with the maintenance right now is just lack of stone input. So we need to get all of this construction, or at least as much as we can, finished. And then once that's done, we can start replacing the objects that crumble. But we are going to be able to do at least some amount of maintenance with our mason yards, so that should, in theory, be good. We've got 12 masons out working on it now, and we could put more in. We could put one here and one here. And honestly, I kind of want to do that. I'm going to put in 2 more mason yards here. So that'll be absolutely fine. We'll get those underway. We see that there's some stone out in this trading post, and it's gone. That is very expected. Very, very expected. So this fortress over here, we've got this border yard. This is now going to need to be getting weapons and armor to supply this fortress, which is absolutely fine. We've got space in there. So I'm not concerned about that. And then we've got this porter yard over here, which is going to have everything that we need for this area, but it just isn't getting built. I really wish we could prioritize this porter yard because that would be a very convenient thing to have indeed. So overall, that's going to be 100 more stone needed up over here. And you can see more and more of these walls are crumbling, and that is wasted stone. That stone is just gone. But we can always get more. So I'm not that concerned about it. We will replace it later as we get more of this completed. So we're going to need a lot of artwork for a lot of this, but for the time being, this should be relatively good. I hope to see these mason yards get built as a fairly high priority. That'd be ideal. Tending to small garden. Okay. And you're going to build a residential wall. Cool. I don't know how much progress we'll actually make on that residential wall, but that'll be fine. So back up over this direction, this granary still hasn't been moved. This fortress is needing 87 additional stone. So that has certainly made some progress. That's good. We needed to make a lot more progress, though. Well, for now, that's okay. Let's bump up the speed because we just need to wait for stone to come in here. So I'm going to take us up to 4x speed for the time being. And we're probably going to see more structures crumbling. That's fine for the moment. We just need to work our way through this deficit. We need a lot of stone. What are you bringing? A loss? Obsidian. Okay. Well, we do need obsidian, but we need stone way more. So that all seems fine for now. I would love to see this porter yard get built. I feel like that's a big part of our issue right now, is we need to see that happen. Of course, these porter yards are in range, but there's just so many structures over here that still need to be built, and we're working on it. I want to check up over here. This is now at, this is still at 34%. This is still at 71. Interesting. That's very interesting. This is at a condition of 20. This is at a condition of 34. So those must tick down quite slowly. Indeed. Maintaining Great Temple. Okay, cool. So we need a lot of work over here, and that pretty much just means we're waiting on stone. There's not too much else that we need to do other than have this stone come in at this point. I do believe that the stone coming in will boost up our might significantly, and we can see that this fortress over here is... it needs some captains. Surprisingly, this has captains. That's very interesting. We could put a noble estate like right here. I don't know how useful that would really be. It'd be pretty cheap, and it would fit. So let's do that. That'll get us our 2 nobles that we need for this fortress, in theory. So that seems fine. We'll get that placed in there, and then this fortress will hopefully be fully online, and this fortress will be less sad. That's the idea, anyway. So our might is currently 15 out of 30. It hasn't gone up very much from this fortress coming in. We'll see if that changes. Down over this way, of course. The real question is, are we making any progress over here? And the answer is yes. We are working through our stone deficit, but it's slow. It's incredibly slow. And maintenance is becoming a bit of an issue down here too, because of the stone requirements. So the question is, are we going to hit an equilibrium point where our maintenance costs are roughly equivalent to the stone input that we have? That's the question. It's a possibility. We'll see. We'll see if that plays out that way. So down over here, we see that this noble estate is now done, and this fortress has no captains in it still. There's a captain. Okay, that seems good. This home needs pottery to develop. I mean, I don't really care about that, to be honest. It can develop eventually. For now, this is absolutely fine. This whole area actually needs some pottery to develop. We do have pottery that we create. Do we export all of it? No, I think we just don't really get any pottery out over here. Actually, building a kiln or 2 out here is maybe not a terrible concept. So we could certainly do that. A kiln can go in here and here, like that. We've got clay right up over here and right here, so that's no problem. And then this porter yard could be set to accept, theoretically, We could remove the stone here. It could be a little awkward if we're trying to build out over in this side, but we can just try to keep that in mind, and we can set to accept pottery. Not like we expect to have much stone out here anyway anytime soon, right? So that looks fine. These kilns will need stone, so we'll see how that goes. We could put a porter yard up over here, or actually a porter stop possibly, because a porter yard does just squeeze in there. And then that can be clay, stone, and timber. And then we can just have that be whatever else we need later on. So that's fine. We can. I'm actually surprised that that fits up there, but yeah, it does. So that's cool. We can Chinampa this area out over here just to have that available if we want to do something with it later. So we'll do that. That seems wonderful. And this fortress is now doing well. That has brought us up to 17 out of 30 might. I feel like doubling our amount of fortresses probably should have given us more than 2 might, but okay. So this fortress is still struggling a little bit out over here, and I can't say I'm terribly shocked about that. We can think about another fortress up over this way to help with that. So we can just put one in right here. And then there are nobles that are going to be right here, which don't quite reach up to this fortress, but we'll see. We'll see. So for now, that seems reasonably fine. We're still waiting on stone to flow in, and we're definitely... I think we're seeing less amount of crumbling happening at this point. I don't think this was crumbled previously. So this has gotten repaired up to 68. This is down to 67. This was at 71 before, I believe. This is down to 20 from, I think, like 30. So we're definitely still seeing some issues with maintenance out in this area. And I believe that that's due to a lack of stone in stock at our mason yards. So if that's the case, well, this mason yard will get finished up eventually. This mason yard will also get finished up eventually. A large market just caught fire. Which large market? This one. I'm assuming somebody is going to douse it. Presumably. There we go. And we see that this residential wall has broken here, and this one as well. So that's not terribly shocking. We're needing a large amount of stone. Just so much stone at this point. But I believe that our stone deficit is currently shrinking, and that's a very, very good thing. It's a little hard to tell, but I'm just looking around at some of these buildings here, and I'm thinking the amount of stone that we need is going down. This granary just caught fire. Okay. We have a well dipper fairly nearby here. That will definitely get solved. There we go. Problem solved there. This granary has finally been moved, so that is good. And as far as this fortress goes, it does need 87 additional stone. So I'm going to get that built, but I do expect that this is going to be the final fortress that we're going to build here. These barracks over here will likely push us up over the 30 might threshold is the idea. So that seems good. If we look at our mason yards, inspecting buildings, lacking resources, that makes sense. Because this border yard is out of range of it. This one is going to be lacking resources as well. It does reach down to this trading post. But what I'm thinking right now is we can put in another porter yard right here and right here. And then that's going to be set to getting building materials, at least for now. And we'll see if we want it to be anything else eventually, but we can just do something like that. So, of course, that's going to require more stone to build, and that's not necessarily ideal. That's for sure. There's a lot of fires breaking out all of a sudden. I mean, we're not going to have a problem with it. All of our dousers can douse this. Like, that's not an issue. But it's definitely a little odd that we're suddenly seeing all these fires breaking out. So there's all of this down here that is, of course, lacking things. It's not necessarily shocking. And I want to check through some of these, like, artistry places here. So this is down to 20. This is right across the street from a mason yard. So our mason yards are clearly still having some issues, right? We have expanded our number of mason yards, and this mason yard is lacking timber and clay. We will get there. So they input stone and output artwork, but they take in timber and clay. So do they only use timber and clay for repairs and not stone? That may be the case here. They may only use the stone for the artwork production, which would certainly be interesting. No doubt about that. Some of our forts lack supplies. That would be this one, wouldn't it? So, actually, no, this one accepts weapons and armor right here. So we should have weapons and armor here, and we've got this granary here. The maize quantity in this granary is low. So that's absolutely understood. That's probably the issue. I want to check in on these others. 10 and 9. Okay, so our granary maize counts are definitely on the low side. That's understood. I'm going to take out this road here. And we're going to extend this road out over this way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then right there. So that goes right here. Yes. And then we would need to build canals out over this direction. So a stone canal would go right here. That's interesting. I think we're going to have to connect this stone canal right here, like that, in order for it to actually have a connection. So that's okay. No problem there. And then we'll extend this out here and then this out here, like that. I'm going to remove these sections of road here because this is destined to become farmland over this way. So that looks fine, but these canals are going to cost more stone. But I think that we need more food production at this moment. So we're absolutely going to get ourselves at least 3 additional farms here. So to that end, I'm going to put in a farmer's hut right here. And we're going to get some crops going for that. So that's going to be 16. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like so. We could have this be purely focused on maize, but I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to do something kind of like this. So this is going to be maize fields that are going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then chili beds. Perfect. This is a road, right? That should be a road. Okay. So then a maize field is going to go like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And there we go. Cool. So this up here, we could maybe have this actually be, if we took this section of road out and we made this be only canal up here. So that would need to be something like stone canal. That's a little awkward. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Also, we're apparently not able to reach something up over here. That's noted. Okay, there we go. So what I'm thinking right now is this area right here could be additional farmland. So we can just have this be pure maize at this point. So we can put in a farmer's hut right here. And then anything up here can be maize. So that's 8. And then that's 17. And then we can do a little bit more up here. So that's 29, 31, and 32. Kind of like that. Okay, so that'll be fine. We'll get that underway, and we will start getting additional maize production out over here. So that's going to be a good amount of additional maize coming in. No doubt about that. Hopefully that will solve this potential maize issue that we see building up here. We do have some maize coming in and flowing, of course, but we can also have some farmland out over here. This will be a little awkward, and then we can expand it over this way as well. but it'll be quite awkward because of the placement of these structures. I wasn't really planning on having to expand out over this way in farmland, so this will do for now, and hopefully that will get us some additional maize flowing. That would be good, because we clearly need it. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to keep on working on this stone deficit. We absolutely need to get a lot of stone in here, but we're slowly working our way through it. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. I don't know why it's telling us that we have a pending structure up here that's impossible to reach, but perhaps we just need to put in a bridge right here. That might solve it. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Aurelio, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.